Welcome to the Musquamacket Beach Podcast, a podcast spotlighting the businesses, newsmakers, events, and memories of Rhode Island's historic Musquamacket Beach.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Musquamacket Beach Podcast. We are here talking with more Springfest artists, and I'm really excited today to have Robin Hathaway from Whole Lotta Heart. You can check out Whole Lotta Heart Sunday, May 12th at 1:30 p.m. They are the Sunday headliner for Springfest. Robin, how are you?
Hey, good, Ben. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So tell me about Whole Lotta Heart. How would you describe the band?
So Whole Lotta Heart has a slight twist on a tribute to the awesomeness of Heart. We do definitely do a full-on tribute to Heart, but we also do a little bit of tribute to Led Zeppelin, as Heart has done at their live shows for the past 4 decades. As most Heart fans know, they were very big fans of Led Zeppelin. So we try to sprinkle a little bit of Led Zeppelin into our sets, but doing a celebration of the music, primarily Heart, but with a little Led Zeppelin peppered in.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, we love it. And we love the music of both. So that's pretty helpful too.
Yeah. So why, how did Whole Lotta Heart come to be? Why Heart? You know, that's a question that I always have, because I know a lot of people who are cover artists and people who are in tribute bands. And my biggest question is why this, like, what drew you to Heart, to form a tribute band?
So I had been seeing a lot of my friends jumping on the tribute bandwagon, for lack of a better term. And we had previously, most of us in the band now were in a cover band together prior to Whole Lotta Heart. And we had done a Heart song. It was actually Magic Man. And I had had a fan come up to us once after performing the song saying, wow, you guys do that really well. And you sound just like Heart when you do the song. And regardless of if they were, maybe had a few drinks or something, but we really enjoyed doing it. And I thought, I had looked around and had seen that there was really nobody doing a Heart tribute in the immediate area. And so I asked everybody and that I wanted to have on board with the project and asked them their thoughts, and everybody was on board, and we thought, let's give this a try. And so it worked, and we're very lucky. We have every member of the band, we're all friends, we're very close. So that's been really helpful in getting everything off the ground and performing really well on stage together, because we're not just music colleagues and bandmates, we're also really close friends.
That's the best.
Yeah, it really is. We're very lucky.
So how long has Whole Lotta Heart been around?
So we have actually not been around that long. We started in late November of 2017.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's like a year and a half.
Yeah. We've picked up some pretty good steam. Fortunately, I had a pretty good reputation locally and regionally with previous acts that I've been a part of, and I have been in the booking game as well. So I had a lot of really good contacts that I had established over many years. And so I think that reputation really helped me. And, we're all pretty serious musicians. And I think our reputation did really help us start landing some pretty high quality gigs right off the bat. And so I think we've already been able to prove ourselves with the shows we've done, and that's really helped us pick up steam. And I think we've been really dedicated to the music in general, just dedicating ourselves to rehearsals and really putting out a good show with the full costumes and high energy performances, and being real selective about the material we choose. And it's worked out really well.
Yeah, you guys definitely seem really dedicated, and you have such a a big passionate fan base. The people that I've seen online are really excited about you guys. You know, sort of wherever you go, which has to be a cool feeling.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we've noticed a lot of people. Like, for example, we played up in Lowell back at the end of last year, and we made some new fans and friends who actually came down to Rhode Island to see us, and then back up to Lowell again, and then came back down again to Pawtucket when we played the Met recently. And so that's been nice to actually have quote quote followers, because I think that's the best compliment, right? When people are traveling, a lot of miles and paying good money to come through the doors to see us. That is absolutely the best feeling.
Yeah, that I would imagine that would be like the ultimate compliment.
Definitely.
And so you talked about the costumes and the production that goes into this, being a tribute band for a band who was popular mostly during the 80s. Tell me what goes into the production and the costumes and the choices that are made, because you could, I guess that there's two ways to do it. You could just be a band in 2019 that does covers of Heart songs, or you could give people the whole Heart experience.
And then that's exactly what we want to do. And if we're going to call ourselves the ultimate Heart experience, we really need to work hard to live up to that. And Heart started in the 70s, and they were very popular throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So they lived through some pretty decadent eras of fashion and production. So you had a lot of big hair and flashy outfits and all throughout the decades. So it is sometimes a bit cumbersome to choose, okay, what is it that we're going to wear and how are we going to represent? And I think for the most part, we don't all try to, coordinate each and every one of us on stage. Okay, let's all do an 80s night of Heart, or let's all do a 70s Heart night. I think that we each individually try to capture our own sense of the Heart that we want to represent that evening, as long as it's within the realm of what Heart represented at some point throughout their decades of popularity. Even now, they're touring again this summer, and of course now anything goes, I think, with fashion and stage costumes and production. So we're kind of at an advantage, I think, that, anything sort of goes, but we really try to keep it within the realm of the 70s and 80s. So it's generally rock and roll wear from the 70s and 80s and hairstyles to match. I would say that Capri, the other female singer, and I probably do the most to capture that fashion and production of those shows.
That would make sense, though.
Right, of course. But the guys do their part too, and try to be, fitting as far as outfits and hairstyles whenever they can.
And in a way, encompassing the different styles throughout the band is appropriate, because I imagine that, during these shows, you're not just doing, the whole show isn't going to be just Heart from the 70s or just Heart from the 80s anyway. So it makes sense that you would do, you would cover a multitude of the generations of Heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is fascinating. I wanted to talk about the two of you vocally, because I watched some clips, and you guys are phenomenal.
No, thank you.
So you're welcome. So I was just wondering, what is your background in music and singing?
So for me personally, I've been singing a little over 15 years professionally. I'm probably singing all my life. But and it's funny, I had to pick for this project probably the most difficult material for a female to sing.
Yeah.
And Ann Wilson is still singing without tuning anything down. She's still singing in her full range, and she's amazing. And so to live up to that it's a real tall order. But I think over the years, and there was a time where I was singing some pretty demanding material. My first band that I ever sang with was in front of a 9-piece horn band. And so I had a lot of difficulty sometimes hearing myself. I was very young and green back then and singing sort of the wrong way and doing a lot of shouting. And after a few years, I actually ended up with vocal nodules, which is a singer's worst nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, and I thought that was the end, or, I wasn't ever going to have my range back again. And over time, with some vocal therapy and exercises and breathing exercises, I actually got my range back and was able to sing better than I ever was able to before. And I think being conscientious of that really allowed me to sing properly. And then just my love of the music in general. I like being raw and real and exciting and just, belting it out. I'm not a classical singer. I'm not classically trained, although I have had some classical training, but I don't think of myself as that type of a singer. So I really like having that rock and roll edginess to my voice. And so I think that's why I was a good fit for this type of music. But I also sing a lot of soul and a little bit of jazz, but rock and roll has been my favorite music to sing. And for Capri, Capri was singing with me previously in another cover band that we were in together. And I know that she's also done some blues, and her mother was a singer for a long time in some bands around the area. And so I think she kind of grew up with it in her blood too. So it's just been in our hearts and souls as long as we can remember.
That's great, and I completely get what you're saying about the. First of all, I think that trying to sing over horns could give anybody nodules, and that's a great story, and I can't wait to hear you in person at Springfest.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever? You're from Rhode Island, correct? Am I wrong?
I am.
Okay.
Yep, all of us are. Mm-hmm.
And do you guys have any experience with Musqueamachet Beach?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I know I've been going to Spring and Fall Fest, gosh, for probably at least the last 5 years. I think last year I even took my mom. I think it was over the same weekend, and I took my mom on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've been going to that area in the summertime as long as I can remember. So I have a personal affection for the area itself, and I was delighted when we were able to be added to the lineup this year.
Thank you for not mentioning Caswell's name right there, because every time somebody says his name, I have to give him some money. Are you? The whole festival down at the beach is awesome, and this past fall for Fall Fest, my best friend has a 4-year-old, and pictures of him at the top of the Ferris wheel, like with the ocean in the background. It's just
nice.
A festival on the beach is crazy special.
Sure.
It's really fun. And I imagine that it would be really fun to play. So hopefully.
Yeah. I always wondered what it would be like. And I've had friends who've played the festival before too. So I've been there for the music portion of things, and always, being a musician myself, always thought, boy, I'd really like to do this sometime. So
yeah, and
I'm excited.
You guys are playing. You're closing out the festival, for the Sunday afternoon headliner spot. It's awesome. It's gonna be warm. It's during the day. The sun is shining. That's that's the best of both worlds. Sometimes the Saturday night shows can get a little cold because it's early May. But,
sure.
But that's really awesome. What other shows do you guys have around? Where can people find you on a regular basis?
So this summer we're doing not quite a bit in South County, but what we do have in the summer, we're in that area. On June 1st, we're going to be at the brand new Phoenix Dining and Entertainment, which is in Pawcatuck on the Westerly line,
Right.
and
Yep.
that's going to be on June 1st. And then we'll be at the Charlestown Seafood Festival on Sunday, August 4th. I believe it's the 4th. That's the Sunday. And we're excited about that, as that normally has some great entertainment as part of their lineup every year. So we're excited about that. And then we can't announce it yet, but we're going to be, we're really excited for a very big show announcement coming up soon that we'll be able to announce after next weekend. And so we're asking people to stay tuned for that. And we'll be announcing that on our website and on our Facebook page. We also have an Instagram that we've been very active on as well.
Very cool. And what is what's your @ handle for people to find you?
It's Whole Lotta Heart Band.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
And obviously, if anybody was curious, Whole Lotta Heart is definitely spelled WHOLELOTTA Heart.
Correct.
Exactly how you would think it is, but you
Yep.
know, always helps. What is your favorite? If you can pick one, I'd love to know what your favorite Heart tune to sing is, and what your favorite Zeppelin tune is.
My personal favorite Heart song to perform is Alone. And my favorite Led Zeppelin song to perform is probably Whole Lotta Love, ironically. So it's sort of our namesake, but it's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of changes in it, and I get to wail in the middle of the song. So it's a lot of belting and a lot of fancy work on the guitar. And our guitarist John, who's also my husband, breaks out some wire cutters to create some really cool guitar effects that mimic the theremin that Jimmy Page used on live shows. So
Nice.
It's really, really exciting. Yeah,
That's so cool.
It's usually a showstopper, so it's good stuff.
That's awesome. I've had Alone stuck in my head all day. I woke up this morning and I knew we were doing this interview, and I put on some Heart, and 20 minutes before I talked to you on the phone, I was just like, I can't. I said to Dave, one of the other producers of the show, I can't get it out of my head. These songs are infectious.
Yeah, they really are. And it's funny. I think to be in a tribute band, you have to at least like the band that you're paying tribute to,
Right?
Because if you're in it for just the money or whatever, eventually you're really going to get sick of doing the songs over and over and over again. I mean, we truly enjoy and like the material, and you're not only performing them live again and again, you're rehearsing them again and again.
Yeah.
So you really got to like them, and you got to respect what they're doing. So yeah, we do. And I mean, I like performing a lot of them, but that one I think I like the most because I think I like the way I sound the most on that one.
You can't argue with that. And I think that the fact that the band Heart itself lends you into being able to do the Zeppelin covers as well is just it gives it that freshness that you know what I mean, that just doing the one might get a little repetitive for you, and instead to be able to mix in some Led Zeppelin, that has to be able to change up the pace a little bit for you.
Yeah, it does. And John, our guitar player, was in a Led Zeppelin tribute band previously, so a lot of the material comes absolutely natural to him. And we're all big fans of Led Zeppelin. Our drummer is a huge Led Zeppelin fan, and so he's just delighted to play any of the material that we come up with. And so it's just such a great fit all around. It's just wonderful.
This may be a silly question. Do you guys do thank you?
We don't actually, but it is actually on our written list for upcoming considerations, which is quite a considerable list.
I'm sure it is.
But it is on that list. So why do you ask? Is that one of your favorites?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah, that is a great one. That's a great one.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to end on a song that you don't cover.
No worries. There's so many, though. There's so many great songs.
You know, you pick two prolific bands. It would be hard. It would be almost impossible to cover everything.
For sure.
All right, so Whole Lotta Heart closing out Springfest, the Sunday headliner, May 12th at 1:30 p.m. I'm so excited, Robin. Thank you very, very much. Follow them at Whole Lotta Heart Band on all of the social media sites, wholelottaheart.com, and check them out at Springfest and everywhere else that they'll be this summer.
Thanks so much for having me, Ben.
Thank you so much for being on. This was a pleasure, and I'll see you at the beach.
Sounds great.
For more information on the events and businesses in Mesquamaket Beach, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and at mesquamaket.org.